Hello and welcome to Season 4. Tonight I am happy to be joined by Ridge. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Summer Slaughter GT we were just at this past weekend. Specifically, Ridge, we're going to be talking about your experience and games there. But before that, how are you doing? Recovered from the weekend yet?
Not at all. It usually takes me till about Wednesday, usually, but a little bit longer this time because we stayed till Monday. So yeah, I got a nice little cup of tea here, but no, I don't know. I'm not recovered yet.
Not enough. Yeah. Up too late, I'm sure, every night, as always.
Yep.
Only
Yeah, the
made, oh,
Friday,
yeah, only made it back to the hotel one of the 3 nights.
one of the three. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
back the last night because we had to leave early pretty much. But the Friday was pretty late one, and then Saturday not as late. But yeah, that's what happens when you get together with everyone.
Yeah. Real questions about Ridge's tournament weekends are always about how hard you party.
That's right. That's what we're here for. We don't care about the games. We want to hear about the times.
Yeah. But I guess just as a quick introduction to or explanation of Summer Slaughter, it was 102 player event down in Pennsylvania. What I don't even remember. It was small town,
Town.
Pottstown, Pennsylvania, very small town. Um, me, and Carl road trip down there, and
Yep.
it's got to see a bunch of friends, see a lot of new people. Yeah, I guess before we get into the lists and all the nitty gritty of the games and all that, I guess what are your highlights overall?
Okay, first highlight, meeting Bud and Jacob Berry, my two new best friends who we've chatted a long time, but those are two of the guys that I haven't met in person. So that was one of the highlights. But no, the highlights, obviously, as you know, were just, yeah, seeing everyone was just amazing. Had a B&B, like in-ground pool, fucking ping pong table, like tons of stuff. So that was definitely the best, just being together with all the Tough Crowd boys and being and girls and everyone. And yeah, and Rob and Owen were down, and intern Matt for coverage, and they were staying there too. So just meeting them finally, and yeah, just they're so lovely, just having great chats and playing ping pong and yeah,
Yeah,
drinking and all that good stuff.
no, for sure. No, definitely lots of good times are had, which is always the best part of tournaments and really the main reason we go travel to the US and all that, all around.
Yeah, I would be remiss actually to not mention Joe's cooking as well, because that's what we usually go for. Joe
That
always
is the
makes
number one reason.
amazing charcuteries, and
Yeah.
he made like unbelievable T-bone steaks. And then the second night we had fettuccine, if I'm saying that right, fettuccine. And yeah, so got to mention that too. Just always so good.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I guess otherwise, do want to say hey to everybody that's joining us tonight and thank you for joining us. See a bunch of you guys in the chat. AOS Coach, Zach, Benoit, Elijah. Hi to everybody down there or over there, wherever you are in the world. You're having a good day. But Ridge, why don't you start things off by taking us through your list? It was different than the new classic of Seraphon lists.
Yeah, it's what I've been kind of testing and playing. You know me, I've always been a star boy. I rarely played. I played a bit of Thunder Lizards. Took I think two tournaments last year, and just so strong last edition. So I was just so happy to have new tactics and grand strategies that are just amazing now for summoning galley vets and summoning again and teleporting and in the game on stream. Yeah, it was just so amazing to just see all those units again. Pretty much the terror of AOS2, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
Fangs was just ridiculous. So, still very strong now, like I was saying. The list I was playing was pretty much just skinks and salamanders. So it was the Slan, reroll, trait. I actually gave him the Arcane Tome because I found that casting, him only having 3 spells, it was nice to have that 4th spell because I'm always withholding one for D3 summoning.
Yep.
So with Purple Sun out now, you're casting that plus Comet, and then it was either picking between Stellar Tempest or Mystic Shield for the 3rd. So I always knew kind of what was happening there. And then it was a Star Priest, obviously, to buff the skinks. 2 skink priests, actually, I went for, just to always have one in the temple and just having that 3 up for run, shoot, and charge.
Gives you 2 chances at it.
Yeah, and I failed it so many, as you do. It's a 3 up, right? You fail it so many times, so having that second one is just always nice. and then the 5th hero is just the Astrolith Bear, because in Starborn he gives you D3 summoning and then increases the range of Purple Sun by 6 inches, which is fucking just bent. But
Yes.
lots of, I think there was 27 suns that at Slaughter, so
Yeah.
it was, they were all over the place.
Yeah.
So that was, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say regarding the and the spell range being extended. Obviously, it didn't used to be that way, and we all understood why.
Yeah.
And the fact that they changed that, and now you can extend the range of endless spells, definitely surprising to a lot of us.
Yeah,
but it is the world we live in now.
It is, and it's like turn 1. It's just ridiculous how far you can throw that thing out. So. Exactly. It's the world we live in. So yeah, hopefully you have some spell ignores, or you have some type of casting that can deny or dispel, something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But the rest, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it definitely has made me rethink how I want to tool out with items and artifacts and different, even general traits and stuff. Maybe taking more into that anti-magic stuff it's scary.
It is, and it's so important now. Yeah, I don't know. Magic is just, it's always been fickle, like we always talk about. It's, you can always roll a 4 or 5 plus 3 is 9 and still get unbound. But yeah, just having the amount of casters that are so good right now and in the sun is just ridiculous. But anyway, let's I'll get in the rest of the list. So the rest of the list is 2 10s of skinks, a 30 skinks, 5 guard for the slan, and then 2 Sally, 2 Sally, 1 Sally, and the sun. And then I think it's 1975. So I went for actually a high drop. I could make it a 2 drop, which is generally what I would do in earlier editions, but just having those 10s of skinks count as 3 was just tremendous. So the 2 10s of skinks and the 5 guard were in Conquerors, and then the 30 skinks is pretty much all I wanted in Bounty Hunters, but then I just put the 2 Sallies because I needed another one. So I went for tons of drops. I was actually 12 drops, but then instead of I took a cheeky Vanguard just to auto 6 my Star Priest all the time, because I found he always had to keep up for the 12-inch aura Venom buff. But last minute, I thought just with Night Haunt and some of the other ones that could be maybe 11, 12 drops, I took 1 battle regiment to make my drops to 10, which actually in 3 of my games I played against 10 drops and we had a roll off. So
worthwhile, or had an impact at least.
Which seems crazy when you're that many, but still you got to think about the meta and what you're going to come up against. So it paid off a little bit, but yeah, that was the list. And there's some things I want to tweak. Which whatever, we'll see. But it's fun. Just fun to play out, summoning all the galley vets late game, taking the show of dominance, which already you see is a problem. Being able to just be in all 4 quarters with my galley vets and summoning 10 skinks. It's just nuts, the late game potential it has.
Yes. Yeah. We played a test game actually with a list similar to what you took and what I took to Summer Slaughter. We did.
Is it out yet?
It's not out yet. So
okay, I thought you were going to just say about the game.
I think it'll be coming out next week, but it'll showcase this, or I think we made a couple of tweaks, both of us, to the list. They weren't final, but it'll be a good showcase. Obviously, if you wanted to watch I think it's your game 3 is on stream, or was on stream from the T Sports Network. So if you go find them and sub on Twitch, you can go watch that back. So I was I was watching it the other day. So
as soon as I got home, I think yesterday, or we got home Monday. So Tuesday, Carly was gone for something. So I ended up, I have been subbed to T Sports for here and there. I'll sub, and then when stuff comes out, and then watch it, and then when more stuff comes out. But yeah, for sure, go check them out. Rob's just obviously the best in the world for coverage and stuff. So definitely check that out.
And if you got, this is not a paid plug, but if you got Amazon Prime, you can sub for free, and supports him. So that's what I do, because it's just like you said, you can do it month by month and just jump in. But anyways, check out Rob. But for now, we'll talk more about your games, Ridge. Starting off with round 1.
Yeah. So funniest thing ever. When we go, it's just meeting people. It's amazing. Whenever you guys see us at tournaments, always come up, say hi. It's the best ever. So, my first round opponent just ran up to me, and his name was Hunter, and we met before. We were chilling and talking and stuff. So he comes up to me, he's like, "I'm grudging you," and we don't do many grudges up here. Yeah. It's very rare that we do grudges common. Unless, or when people come from out of town, I guess maybe, but. So I was just like, okay, like I can't say no. So I'm like, okay, let's do it, sure. And then sure enough, he runs off, goes to the TO, and then comes back, he's like, all right, we're good to go. And I was like, oh, okay, like what are you playing? Like I had no idea. He's like, I'm playing Gits. So I just started laughing, like just so funny, just right off the bat, fucking legend that he is. So yeah, my first game was against a guy named Hunter. He was playing 6 rock guts, 9 fell waters, a couple units of 20 shootas, and the dank hold, and I think just a fungoid. But
Not even
amazing
like
list.
a Kragnos. This is pure Gits. Like
Pure
yeah.
gets fucking trogs coming at you. So yeah, it's just sick. So we're playing the 8 objective mission, which I actually really like with my list. So I was hoping it was going to be a Sunday mission, but it was the first mission Saturday. So yeah, it was a good game. Like honestly, he played it like phenomenally to the point where if I hadn't won so many prios, it would have definitely been like a closer game and been, down to the nitty gritty, because he was scoring his battle tactics very well. And he played the objective game well. And he got off a couple like Hand of Gork spells against my +2 rerolling slan, which was like nuts. So yeah, by the end of it, I won. I think I might have even won all of the prios. I know I won at least 3 or 4,
That
which was like,
helps.
yeah, which is just crazy. Already in like a Seraphon against Gits should be a very should be winning that game. So huge props to him for playing as well as he did. And I didn't win by very many, so it was it was a sweet game. But even cooler just meeting Hunter. So yeah, it was awesome. Just getting grudged and all that stuff.
I want to just before I don't have a couple questions, but just before I want to say a huge shout out and props to Sean and Will, both in the chat, who Sean is one of the organizers of Summer Slaughter, so big shouts for running an awesome event. And Will, who was doing the camera work throughout the event, was great to see that coverage. And even looking back at the Honors War game or the T Sports Network stream and all that, it's pretty cool to have that roving camera. So props to both you guys. Always great having people, lending their time to running events and making them awesome for people like us in the community.
Big time. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw Will was around a lot with the roaming cam, so it's amazing to be able to have that stuff. That's literally what got me into watching LVO. I've probably said this before, but watching the LVO 2019 before I got competitive, I lived for watching those games. Like, so seeing the top down, seeing all that, like it's so good to be able to have that stuff back. Just amazing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Tristan, among others, are definitely impressed by the pipes ridge. So all the hard work here. All the hard work in the gym's paying off.
Yeah, not really, but
yeah. So what was the final score in your game one?
I don't know. I didn't write down any scores. I'm not sure. It was decently close though, within like the 20 to 30s for each of us.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a mopping by any means. I did kill. I think I went early at the rock guts in the 5-up ward with the +1 save from the moon shrine. Fuck, man, I thought I was going to be doing a lot more damage, so that's what caught me off guard and made it into like a good game. And then yeah, like I said, if you would have won a prio like 3 or 4, it would have been like I definitely could have lost. So it was one of those games that like I underestimated the 5-up ward with the trogs and just thought I was going to do more. The fell waters I just rinsed because they just don't have the ward. So with shooting, they have the -1 to hit, but yeah, I actually makes me want to play some, which we got some more trogs. Actually, our buddy Slanice sent me some trogs, so props to him. I traded for some ogres, so we're gonna get some trogs on the channel actually. So nice. I'm down to play them.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I know we have a Tragnos that you won at an event that I wanted to paint it up for Dits too. Fun to play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I forgot about that big fucker. Yeah, from Du Bois.
Yeah. But so that was round 1 versus Dits. Actually, you had a big destruction day 1 with all your matchups.
All 3 were destruction. Yeah. I played. Yeah, Zach, you'd be happy, buddy. I played 3 destruction lists in day 1. So normally pretty good for Seraphon. But as I'll get into, the 2 and 3 were both like great players and like kind of meta lists right now. So Yeah, I'll just jump into my second game then. So yeah, the second game was Bone Splitters. I played against a guy named Andrew. His name's Bellmail on the Party at the All Points chat. So shout out Party at the All Points boys if you haven't watched their content, their podcast, Tristan, Dayton, and Bud. So yeah, check them out on all the stuffs. But yeah, his name's Andrew. So I've met him in that Discord, and we actually played a game on TTS. So he beat me on TTS. He handily took out I played like a Living City Fulminator list, and he was playing Kragnos and Bone Splitters and smashed me.
Nice.
So yeah, it was cool to meet him in person, and then we were chatting like whatever, and he was playing pretty classic Bone Splitters lists without tons of stabas. So the other one that you see, Icebone, 3 10s of the the Moorboy boars, a couple of the 5s, 2 mask eye laser boys, and then the general was the hero on the mount, whatever orc on the mount. So yeah, I was kind of like, I have played this a few times. I played Mike Simeon, my balls on Twitter, like our buddy from up here.
Yep.
And he actually beat me in a little RTT we had a month or two ago. So I thank God. So thanks, Mike. I played that list and had a bit more of an idea of what it does. I already kind of know what it does, but
getting the experience like in person is huge.
Yeah, just kind of getting ranges a little bit better and that type of thing. But so I kind of knew what it did. Andrew did do a really sick thing that I didn't kind of see coming. I knew the eye lasers was start of hero. So obviously you don't want to be within 12 of those guys because they can just take off your entire 30-man unit. Yep. But he cheekily deployed one of them on the line, and the other one, he even said after he had kind of things deployed, he's like, he made a mistake. Like he wanted the other one on the line on the other side, but he couldn't fit it. So he put it behind. And with the pregame move, he moved that eye laser guy up 5. So it was 18 away mission. So he was able to get him into the 10 man of skinks. And then his first, so he took first. He outdropped me because I was 10. He was a little bit less. He took first, and then I lasered my 10 block of skinks, but thank God rolled the 1 or 2 and did 6 mortals to himself twice. So he almost killed. He had like 1 wound left or 2 wounds on the guy, and he decided to stop eye lasering, which we both talked about after, and we were like, oh man, you should have went for it.
I was at that point.
Yeah, because he actually, with his pregame move and everything, I was screened out, obviously all the way around, everything back quite a bit. So I was actually able to keep 6 of those skinks in a position where if he charged me, he needed a huge charge, or else he wouldn't be able to pile around them and get into my 30 block and my 2s of Sally's and all that stuff. So thank God, I think he rolled a 7 for his. So he moved as you do in Bone Splitters, moved everything up all outside my screens, and then did all of his big charges. And thank God he rolled a 7 on the 10 that were like in the middle. The other ones, I think, it was 2 of them that were kind of in. So he didn't essentially get into my juicy stuff. So it's like a dream for Seraphon, where he just pretty much eliminated my screens. I just pulled them off, didn't even roll. And then I was able to go, and I cleared out like the 10 in front of me.
It came into all your ranges.
Yeah, exactly. And then even then, I was still like, I won turn 2 prio as well. So then I doubled them back, which, yeah, it was just like, at that point, it was almost like, okay, there's something's got to go very wrong for me not to just be able to clear out enough. So I just pretty much left whatever was on the left side and just, as you do, peppered the one side, stayed out of his ranges so they couldn't get me on the left, and then, yeah, we talked out after, I think, turn 3. Or no, actually, he won 3 prio, and then we played bottom of 3, and then we could kind of talk it out. But had he won turn 2 prio, it would have been a good game. Like a much closer game. It still ended up being, I think, like 28-20 or something. So it was still, again, it was a close game. But yeah, Tristan, the best way to do well in this game is just be lucky. Just win prio. That's it. You're not good, be lucky.
I need more practice of that. I struggle winning priorities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but both of those, not the gets list. This list was one of those ones that if they go first, they just get in your face. If you can't do enough in your turn, which it's a ton, it's 183 wounds, I think the list was. If they win top of 2 prio, like, yeah, the rest of their shit is into you pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was, yeah, got kind of lucky with the prio. It still would have been a game for sure because I had parting shot as well, right? So if any of those things charge those 30 blocks of skinks, they're going to do, 18-ish
Yeah.
damage to them, which is crippling that unit and then possibly running away.
And then you also have, in addition to them, firing, you have salamanders unleashing hell. Yeah.
Which, yeah, if you watch the stream game, I killed two and a half pigs on one unleash hell. It's just, yeah, Sallies are what Sallies always have been. Spiky, they can do.
Now they don't give up points anymore.
Exactly. They do 4 damage or they do 18 damage. So that's like the range. So yeah, won that, got my strategy, got everything. So I was on really good points. I think I think I was top table. Me and Noah were either top or second table 2. I can't remember. But this army with the Fangs is just so good. Again, like I said, grand strategy is very easy. I got all my tactics for all 15 day 1. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Talking about the grand strat, people are always thinking about just the one unit in the center with that, with Latian veterans. But the fact that you have so many skink units and summoning and the Saurus Guard, you just have so many ways to put. I'm sure at times you could store that with one unit, or you even have 4 units kicking around if you really need it.
Yeah, always. As long as my Slan's alive, I'm probably going to be summoning 10 skinks, teleporting them exactly either this side of the board, this side of the board, or this side of the board, this side of the board. Yeah. Again, like you said, everyone thinks the middle. Yes, the middle is
if
good,
it's open,
but
yeah.
Even more so with being able to say run 1 unit over here for 2 in their zone, or in their zone if it's the top, and then next turn either teleporting 1 or summoning and teleporting. Yeah, It's just nuts. Tune into our battle report and you'll see kind of how that works.
Sure.
So some events are actually, I know at NashCon, I believe show of dominance is that you have to have a unit in each quarter. So they've FAQ'd that essentially. Which
I wonder, because Games Workshop confirmed in the FAQ today that you are able to do it with 1 unit in the center. So.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it's very strong. Let's say that it's very, very strong for certain armies. Yeah. So yeah, that was my game 2. My screen has just run out. There we go. And then my game 3, everyone, you can watch part of it. Let me asterisk part of it on stream.
Not the end.
No, which was absolutely hilarious at one point. I just remember after. So essentially, what happened is, let's just start from the beginning. Actually, if you haven't go on T Sports Network, you can watch the game. So it was Noah, one of my best buddies that we play Warhammer with all the time. So he's plays for Team America. Mm-hmm. One of the best Iron Jaws players for sure that I've ever played against. Well, he's the best Iron Jaws player I've ever played against, but probably one of the best in the world. He's done very well on a lot of the rankings and whatever. Plays lots of Warhammer. So yeah, it was like him against, and he knows I've played Seraphon against him multiple times, so we have played against each other, that type of thing. So it's always amazing when you're doing that at an event because you kind of each other know what each other are kind of thinking. Like it's quick and it's very much like intent. Like that this guy's going to kill this, that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
But then dice are always dice is kind of the moral of this. So I'll quickly go over what happened. But again, you can watch on T Sports. So he gave me first, as you do. Essentially, I teleported. I juiced up my skinks just in case he doubled me back. I summoned 10 skinks, put a giant screen around, and then summoned my other 10 skinks. So I had a double screen essentially, just in case he cleared my tops. I put my single salamander just to do a little bit of damage and just take the objective because that was the primary. Mm-hmm. And I teleported 2 Sallies over on the other side after giving them +2 so the 3 up for the +1 save and then Mystic Shield. So that's where I put them on the side. And then I actually moved the Ashleth Bear. You can see me measuring a ton on stream. Like I feel like I just fucking measure for my whole turn. And that Ashleth Bear was wholly 18 of those 2. So that's why I essentially, because Sallies need to be babysat essentially. So after my turn 1, didn't do much, got the sun right up to where he was, left it there. And then he came in to me, but he didn't play too aggressive. So he cleared out my screen, got his other pigs into the closer screen, and then charged his other pigs into the 2, which unleashed hell, like I said, and killed 2 of his. So by turn 3, yeah, and then by turn 3, essentially he had his 2 6s of pigs, the Maw Crusher in the top. In the Maw Crusher, he was very scared of the sun, as you are,
Yeah,
because it can just
understandably.
kill him. So he was staying outside of 11 inches just so I couldn't move it, and then roll the 1. So what happened, and the biggest mistake that I made, which wasn't completely clear on stream that it was a mistake, and as soon as I did it, I immediately was like, "Fuck!" Like I knew I made the mistake, because I've done something similar to this before. Is I left one single skink. He killed 9 of my skinks of my summoned one, which was in front of my 30. I left one single skink alive, and I did Inspiring Presence him because I thought I could just be able to move him into an annoying position. He would still count as being in a zone for my galley vet thing. Like one skink is still like great,
Yeah,
but I didn't move him because he was tagged when that single pig was there. So once I killed that pig off, he was past the move. He was just
yeah,
stayed there. So then in Noah's turn, he very smartly, which is what you do, take full advantage of my mistake, and he was able to charge those 6 pigs into that single skink, and then evade the parting shot from the 30 skinks that were right underneath them. And then he piled them all into the 30 skinks and absolutely obliterated them, which, yeah, they're bounty hunters, even with the +1 damage buff.
yeah.
So me making that mistake, like I said, Noah's obviously a very seasoned player, so he did that. He got his Maw Crusher over into my Sally's. We were measuring for a while because we weren't sure if he could get in. Again, like fuck, man, we're good buddies. Like he got into my Sally, and we all thought it was over. Like, okay, this game's over. So this is where the stream shut down. Like they killed the skinks. I pretty much had a couple 10 skinks over here. I had my Slan. He didn't end up killing my Slan. He killed the other heroes, and I best aid my Slan, kept my Slan alive. So then in my turn, I moved my Slan up to the top left of my temple. This was when the stream was already done. So everyone,
Yeah.
like the game was over. I lost. Moved my Slan up to the top.
Well, the game
left.
wasn't over.
The
But
game
people
wasn't over.
thought the game was over.
Exactly, on stream, yeah. So then I moved my Slan up to the top left part of my temple, in between the temple and a ginormous piece of terrain that was directly above it. And then I pulled in the end of my hero. So before I did this, sorry, I moved my sun 8 inches fully down. So the sun actually blocked off that little bit of like leeway that was in between the temple and the train, like the tree. So when I moved my Slan, summoned my 10 skinks, teleported them to the back, took his point, got my points, whatever. He won prio, and then in his turn, he took the battle tactic to kill a unit with his general. Just obviously thinking with his Maw Crusher, that's massive. He's going to be able to do that. And then this was when I moved the sun. So at the end of this hero phase, once he took that, I moved that sun to block up that spot. So when he didn't notice this right away. Obviously, he took the battle tactic first. He didn't notice that if he moved outside of 3 and charged, he couldn't end within half an inch of my Slan. And then his back of his base of his Maw Crusher couldn't actually clear over top of my temple either, because the 12 inches wasn't far enough. So once he realized that, was like, oh fuck, okay. So he failed that battle tactic, like didn't get that. So that's where on stream it was like insane, because then in that next turn, the sun, obviously at that point, we're talking about it as it's going on. I'm like, I'm gonna roll the 1, like that Maw Crusher's gonna get sunburnt, like it's whatever, like joking, whatever. And sure enough, that sun fucking killed the Maw Crusher. I rolled the 1. I remember Rob and some of the guys like on stream were like over, like thinking the game was already done. And Noah's just like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, oh my God, everyone's going nuts. I'm just like, my arms up in the air looking like this, shaking my head. Rob's like laughing, like it was just insane. So yeah, after that, killed the Maw Crusher. So at the end of my turn, or at the end of that turn, he had just the 4 pigs left. I had 10 skinks top, 10 skinks left, my Slan essentially. And then it came down to me being able to, I had 3 10s by the end of the game, and he had his 4 pigs, which he could pick. He could get to one of them, but he couldn't get to all parts of the board. So I felt so bad, like just after, it's like, that is the reason why this stupid purple sun should not fucking do what it did to Noah's Maw Crusher.
Yeah.
But
single-handedly decided the outcome.
This game was, it was well over. Like it shouldn't have been, and that my mistake of leaving that skink should have bit me in the butt, and that should have been game. But yeah, because the sun is just stupid and did that.
It will skew games.
Yeah, so that's essentially what happened in game 3. So then I yeah, we had a big hug. We chugged our beers together and like, yeah, whatever. And then so I ended up winning that one, and I got all my tactics and strategy. So I was on 15 strats, 3 grand strats, and or 15
Tactics.
battle tactics and all my strats. So then, yeah, I was playing table 1 Saturday morning.
Nice. Yeah. And that's something worth noting actually, with tactics and strategies is the scoring for this event, obviously, as it always should be, wins first. So standard. But then for tiebreakers, no differential, no, it wasn't VP or anything. The first tiebreakers were just how many grand strategies you completed. The first tiebreaker. The second tiebreaker was how many battle tactics you completed. So that's where you were matched on both. So that put you, as I'm sure there were a bunch of people at that point still matched on both, put you top. But we'll talk about that a little more in conclusion. But just worth noting how the scoring worked here.
Yeah, which we've talked about too. And it's like in this edition, I think maybe the battle points might be back to being the best first tiebreaker. Just because, like you said, there's some armies that can just always get the grand strat, like Fire Slayers with that prayer, Doc. Like, well, there, a lot of other armies just have ones.
Or even your grand strat, you don't have great battle tactics necessarily, but you have a pretty 9 times out of 10, you're going to get your grand strat.
Yeah, the Night Haunt one of just not being on objectives. Like, there's so many like good ones. But anyways, that's a whole other kind of bag of marbles. But so, yeah, that happened. Saturday, we went back to the B&B, got drunk, had an amazing time, went swimming, all that fun stuff, went in the hot tub, like all that. I was actually really hungover Saturday, so I think Friday night I definitely went the hardest, and Saturday I won all 3 of my games, and then Saturday I didn't go as hard, and I lost both my games Sunday. So clearly, I just need to get.
We know why then, I guess.
Yeah, I need to just get back on the horse Sunday morning or Saturday morning with a hangover and just have a few beers of Caesar, and apparently I play better. So yeah, so Sunday morning, woke up. What I had for breakfast, New York bagel that Joe brought, which was amazing. We all went to the venue. I knew I was playing Vag, so Mike Vaginos, another really good friend of ours, part of Tough Crowd. He's been playing Darren's little 3 Snake Basti Croak Prime for a couple tournaments. I think he's won 5 games in this tournament and then the one before.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. But an excellent player, really smart. Like, I know he coaches, I think helps with Team America, whatnot. But he's so we've played each other again a bunch of times, so we kind of know. So I felt decent about the matchup. I have a lot of 1 damage. I had the mobility. I had the advantage with mobility, summoning, all that stuff. And I felt really good actually in turn 1 and 2. And then, so essentially in our game, we were both 10 drops. I won it, so I gave him first. And he brought Prime down right away. I was screened out so that if he charged my 10 block of skinks, he wasn't able to get around and then get into any of my heroes. But Jordan, you love when I was telling you this, that he was, just Seraphoning my heroes off like crazy. Yeah. I've done it to Jordan and Carl, all the guys, so much that they probably were loving themselves inside watching me lose all my little heroes.
No mercy.
Yeah. So he took my Star Priest down turn 1. So he got Comet off with Croak with +4. When I give him first, he's going to be +4. So Croak +4, he got Comet off, did some wounds. He did the shooting attack from Prime, did a couple wounds, and then he also ran his engine up and double tapped it and got the mortals both times. So just so many D3 mortals were coming at me. So he went for the Star Priest, which was the right move. He killed my Star Priest. I think maybe that's it. Left everything else on like 1 or 2 wounds, except the Slan was full. And then he wasn't able to get into that Skink Priest, like I said, because I measured and said if he makes a 12-inch charge, I kept him exactly 12 plus 3-inch pile-in, measured 5.12, whatever. And then like exactly that, which ended up being massive because he did exactly that, charge Prime in, killed the single Salamander that he was able to pile in. And but when he charged, this was already one of the first mistakes I made, and I was so angry at myself, like I'm still thinking about it. he took the tactic. It was 3 objectives down the diagonal, and he took the tactic to hold just against the odds on the bottom right one. So he put his Bastillodon up there, counting as 5, put his Bastillodon in the middle, counting as 5, and didn't care about the top left. So when he did that, I parting shotted when he charged the 10, which I told him, he knows the rule, like whatever, like he just charged in, did my parting shot. But for some dumb reason, I parting shotted and stole the middle objective, just not thinking about his battle tactic. I was just like, oh, I'm going to take this middle objective. Amazing. Rolled the 5, did it. So I took his middle objective, but as soon as I did it, as soon as I let go of my hands, like we put him there, I'm like, okay, so I took that. And then I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, what was your battle tactic? And he's like, yeah, hold this one. And I was just like, oh.
So if it makes you feel any better, this is what I actually see commonly gotten like incorrectly, is against the odds you actually choose the unit to capture the objective, not the objective, like not which objective.
Oh, so it can be contested?
No. So
yeah, he chose the Bastillodon to take the bottom right.
Okay, so he had. Okay, you're saying. Sorry, I thought you said he chose that objective. That's just the objective that Bastillodon.
Yeah.
Was on.
Roger that. Yeah, he did it right. Like he. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I see that quite often. Is people will be like, against the odds, I'm going to choose this objective, but you actually choose the unit, and it can be on any objective. You just have to control it.
Yeah, so he picked the Bastillodon, like he did it, right? He picked the Bastillodon. It's just what I was saying is, yes, if I would have just parting shot, which you're gonna find out very soon, the game was insanely close. So there were a couple things that both of us went both ways that we just didn't do. You know what I mean? And those are the moments you look back and it's like you lose by 1 point. You're like, fucking Christ, like that. Literally one dumb
you win or lose the game on little things like that.
Exactly. So yeah. So he still got his tactic, but he just held 1 because I took over the middle one. So anyways, then bottom of 1, that King Priest that he didn't pile into had curse. So I rolled the curse, got it. So I cursed the prime, absolutely obliterate. Well, not even absolutely obliterated him, but the 30 skinks and then 2 sallies I went into him, killed him. So after that, the prime was dead. I had the top left. I had the middle still. I didn't even move those skinks. And then I didn't care about the bottom right. So I got my point. I got 5. So I was up by 1. No, I was up by 2. Sorry, because he just got hold 1 in his tactic. So up by 2 still, good position. And then this was the second one where in hindsight, I should have taken priority. So I won priority. And I was in such a good position to give it away because everything he had was out of range. He couldn't hit me with pretty much anything. The only thing which I've brain farted in playing Seraphon, I don't know how I didn't think of this, but I always just use +1 attack for my Beastmaster on the engine. He can clearly just once a turn run and charge. So I gave him turn, even if the engine gets in, still in a pretty good spot. Like he's not going to destroy everything. I have parting shot, all that stuff. But this was one of those other moments where you look back, you're like, if I would have taken turn, I could have probably killed one of the Bastillodons, could have, got into Croak in the guard, teleported, blah, blah, all that stuff. So either way, I didn't. I gave him turn. He got his engine down into me, moved his Bastillodons up. The Purple Sun even took out one of his Bastillodons. So I had the Purple Sun roll. He couldn't unbind it, which again, Mike, so he was so pissed because all weekend he couldn't unbind the Sun.
Too.
With +3 to cast, he just kept rolling 3s and 4s and 5s and just couldn't get the Sun out of there. So anyways, yeah, he came down. All of that happened. He got into the skinks because he was able to charge and then pile in. I think he killed like 10 or something, whatever. At the end of his turn, he held 2. Same thing, got his tactic. Croak is just so good at just shutting down everything that I'm doing. And the engine just double rolling. Tons of like just the mortals, like everything coming out, which, yes, we know that the Thunder Lizard lists are very good. So anyways, whatever. So all of this stuff happened. I had my turn, scored. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So essentially, after turn 2, I didn't win another prio, which was I had my chance. I won turn 2 prio. Like that was my chance.
Yeah.
And the shittiest thing is, if I would have took prio, I would have won because we tied on like two of the 3 of those. We tied. So
you would have won the next prios kind of thing.
He retained.
That's always a consideration, right?
Yeah, and Zach will be killing me because he always tells, I win ties, because he's always like the percent chance of you winning is I win ties, which is just, yeah. So Anyway, so he won 3, 4, and 5 prio, which he was able to keep scoring. So it came down to, at the very end of it, I teleported Sally's over here, killed the guard, got in, killed. He moved Croak to the middle. He had a Bastiladon in the middle, Croak in the middle, engine down here. I had my Slan alive, 2 Salamanders top right, 10 Skinks top left, and 10 Skinks down on the bottom right point. So after all the craziness happened, I had a play in the bottom of 5. So I was down. And at this point, it's like each prio he won, it was like, okay, talk it out. I'm like, no, we're not talking it out. Like Seraphon, no, it does. So I had to play turn 5. What I need to do, the Slan, I had 3 Skinks up in the top middle by the end of it. The Sally that was going into Croak. The only tactic I had left was kill something and hold more. So I, at the end, teleported my Slan, summoned 10 Skinks in front of him outside of 9 of Croak. Did the +1 charge constellation. What I needed to do was kill Croak, hold that, and take the middle. And then because I would have had Skinks and Gallivets in the middle, I would have got my grand strategy from just that. I could have got my grand strategy other ways, but I needed the tactic to win because I was down by, I think it was 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I was down by 7. So I was down by 6. 7 would have tied, 8 would have won. So all of these things happened. I summoned the 10. I made the charge. I put the Salamander in. I did way more damage than I should have in the combat phase. I did 10 damage with the Salamander and all the Skinks. I had my tactic, essentially. And then he needed to roll a 10 on the Croak die, and Croak would have died. I would have got my tactic, strategy, and hold more and won the game. He rolled a fucking 9. And Croak survived on 1 wound to deny my tactic. I still got my grand strategy because the Skinks were in all 4 quarters. And I got hold 2 because I held the middle point too, but I didn't get my tactic. So it ended
kill a unit.
Because I didn't kill a unit. And it was insane the amount of things that like were spinning in my head, and people are coming over, and I was like, just like my head, I must have been like steaming from my head, just like thinking of what I could do. So yeah, man, one of those games. And Mike and I had a game like this at Du Bois where so similar.
Oh, barn burner.
Yeah, and I won in turn 5 in that one. So he got me back. I lost 24-23. The crazy plan. Yeah. So it was just insane, man. And again, we just like had a beer after, had a hug, and it was just like one of the best games of Warhammers I've played. Like one of the crazy closest, like, yeah, just all the things that happened. So yeah, that was my game 4. Sorry, that was super long, but it was just a crazy game to explain, and yeah, just like so much shit happening.
Lots of casting. Yeah, lots going on with 2 Seraphon armies.
It was, yeah. So after that, I was at the point where it's like, shit, okay, 3-1. Even if I finished 4-1, I tied, or I had all my battle tactics and grand strats. Essentially, I just dropped 1 tactic, which was that game. So
still good on tiebreakers.
Yeah, so if I 4-1'd, I probably would have been the top of the 4-1s, if not, 5th or 6th, whatever place. So still hoping, yeah, game 5. So we see the pairings, and I'm paired up against no other than the most beautiful man in Warhammer, Nate Trentinelli. So we have had Nate, I think, on stream once.
Yep. Yeah, down at Slambo. Yeah.
But everyone probably knows him. He's just an amazing Night Haunt player. He made top 8 at LVO last year. I haven't actually played Nate, so it was like one of those times where we're, again, really good buddies. We've been getting drunk the last 2 nights together. Just game 5 is just like, you see the matchup, and it's just like, fuck. I kind of changed. I knew Night Haunt was going to be here, and I knew Nate was one of the better ones here. So, yeah.
Definitely an army that we're concerned about in the meta, right? It's one that's going to be prevalent and strong.
They're very good. And your brother Alex beat me at the one Garage Hammer game. So like I know what Night Haunt does. I know it's so good against the Sallies. The Ren just does nothing. You got to roll mortals, and it's just like you can't rely on that. The Skinks are great into them, but so anyways, yeah. So we played. It was the weird one with the the objectives where you can deploy on like the whole 6 inches of the right side. Yeah. 6 objectives.
Old horse in the hand kind of thing.
Yeah, where you pick your own as the primary. Yeah. So I felt decently good about that. And then the moral of this one was he he played better Warhammer than I did. I made a couple mistakes, and he'll say that my dice were bad just because he's such a beautiful human being. But a couple things happened here and there. But again, so what he put 10 of his chain rasps in my bottom left point. I put 10 skinks in his top right. He essentially took the top 3. I took the bottom 3. But with my bottom left one, he put the 10 chain rasps. I put one Sally over there, shot the 10 chain rasps, and I only killed, I think, 4 of them or something. And then I didn't charge them. So on his turn, he came in and took that objective back. So that was essentially the bane. I wasn't able to take his top right because I just couldn't do enough damage. The 9 spirit hosts with his heroes, like tanking for the heroes, and then he had 2 20s of blade guys up in the sky. Just nuts. So the big thing that happened in this game was he gave me first. I moved up, didn't do much, screened out, like got over points. His turn, he didn't come into me either, kept his 2 20s in the sky, which we talked about after. Might have been he should have maybe brought them down just in case of winning prio. But either way. And then when he did win prio, he brought them down. And he made the 120, he missed the 9-inch charge. The other one, he rolled an 11. So those 11 were able to charge into my screen. And then again, you'll see, which is the one bane of parting shot, is that you can't put those 30 skinks near other units, which they were top right and my other unit was in the middle. But because the ghosts can spread out so much, he charged over here, charged them, and then he only piled 3 frigging ghosts into my 30 skinks, and he killed 14 skinks because bounty hunters, so +1 damage against the skinks, and he was 2s and 3s, I think, and just rolled decently. So he had 7 through for 2 damage each. So yeah, killed 14 skinks, killed some other stuff, and again, he was just kept holding my bottom left one, and I wasn't able to take his. So he was scoring more in turn 1 and 2. So yeah, got to turn 3 and turn 4, and I still had a couple plays. I ended up roasting the rest of the 20 block, but then his 20 came down in the bottom left, killed all my stuff in the bottom left, and I just wasn't. And I don't know. I was kind of disheartened, and Nate, again, we're such good friends, and it was just like he was in a good position. We were laughing and kind of, at that point, it was like I wasn't gonna. Yeah, I kind of knew what was going to happen.
Writing's on the wall.
Yeah, writing's on the wall, kind of thing. So, and he was being an absolute gem, obviously, just like, take your time, do this, whatever. So, yeah, so it was one of those situations where you hate to see it. Well, I just hate, you go 3 out, like win your first 3 games and think like, no matter what, I'm probably going to, not no matter what, but there's a good chance, especially on full tactical strategy.
Cracking top 10.
Yeah. And like, like for ITC, just everything else, like you're going to do really well. But then, you lose both your games on Sunday, then it dropped me to, I think I finished 22nd or so, whatever the 3 2s. But either way, it wasn't about that. It's more about, having an amazing time and seeing everyone. And even after the game, it was the classic, the awards were amazing. And, but the game was good, but some mistakes, man. It's
how you learn.
Yeah. I need to learn multiple times, I guess, before But so that was it. Yeah, man. I finished again, I think 22nd, something like that. So yeah, the list, I like the list. It's fun. Again, I love playing Fangs. I love Starborn. Just way more to do. You're not just moving around -1 damage dinosaurs, and it's still a lot to do with Thunder Lizards and Kodals. Like there's still a lot going on, but I just love the ability to be summoning stuff and teleporting stuff, and there's just so many more plays you can do.
Techiness.
Yeah, Elijah, Fangs gang.
Well, I guess, again, first time you switch back to Fangs in a long time. What are your thoughts on your list after having ran? Any changes, when you come out of an event like that and you're kind of looking back at your games, any changes you instantly thought you would make to the list?
Yeah, we had 8 hours to drive home to talk about all of our experiences and lists and whatnot. Jordan was looking at a lot of Sylvaneth stuff on the way home. Let's just say that.
Always.
I don't know, man. It's like I think the single Sally isn't needed. The 2/2 blocks are good. You can throw 5 camos in there, just have another little deep strike threat with some mortals. Honestly, 2 more 10s of skinks would be really good. There's a lot of little things to do with that. like I told you, I want to play some slaves and stuff. Like I want to. I don't know. There's a lot. I want to play Fangs. It's my favorite ever, and I love it. And I feel like just because if I don't practice enough, it's something that I'm actually have done. I've played a lot. So
If you don't have time to prep for an event with a new army, you can always lean back on Seraphon.
exactly.
Fangs.
And Fangs, and that's where it's way more fun for me to play these like I said, compared to the Coalesce ones. So the list wise, yeah, I don't know, those kind of guys, couple changes. I was even thinking dropping two Sallys or a Sally or no, two Sallys and just using a Prime just because it's just fun and an easy piece to use. So I don't know. We'll see. Nice. But yeah, I didn't play very many games. It's like riding a bike, right? Like it's just like that first game we played. It was my first game when we played on stream, and it was you just start to remember all the stuff again.
Yeah,
played it for 2019. I played it like crazy, or 2020, I guess it was. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That tournament was amazing. Yeah, shouts to Sean and Jared and everyone. They did just an awesome job. Tough Crowd was the best ever at the awards again, chanting everything, the drop pod, all that good stuff.
It showed to Joe's Meats.
To Joe's Meats, yeah. But no, nice. It was good tournament. Definitely going to be going next year. 8-hour drive was a bit, but
not too bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Besides the torrential downpour on the way home. Survived it.
We did. It was pretty insane. Lots of like mountains and trees and stuff. It was a cool drive. It wasn't like a boring, shitty drive.
Yeah.
I love also that you can see that where we are, the sun has clearly went down, and I have a sunroof that was much brighter than this before, and now everything is dark.
Yeah. So. Well, I guess any other, final thoughts? We kind of briefly mentioned the scoring system.
Yeah. So it was just like we said, it was grand strategy first, after win-loss, grand strategy, and then battle tactics, and then points. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. Others.
Yeah, I just like I have opinions, but maybe I'll save those for when I chat. This isn't about me tonight. But yeah, I guess any thoughts? Did you like that scoring or?
Clearly, I did, because my grand strategy is easy to get. But no, we've chatted about it. I'm on the same page as you. I think it is fair. Like back last edition, it was insane. It was dumb that grand strategy was first, because giants, Lumineth, like keep a wizard alive, keep a monster alive. It's like, get out of here. Those are like auto gets where some armies can't do that.
So with the very known inequality of grand strategies and battle tactics,
yeah,
it might not be the most balanced way to do tiebreakers. But that there's always downsides to every format, but we're always looking for trying to find the most fair way to do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
yeah, essentially that's it. You want to just make it fair for everyone. But other than that, shout outs. I always have 100 shout outs. So I'm going to shout out all my opponents. Obviously was great. Like I played all of my opponents. You and Carl, obviously the boys, Tough Crowd boys, always the best. Chris, especially Warder, who got the B&B, who's an absolute legend, blood plumber. Again, and just Rob and Owen, like met them, they're just absolute dream boats. Like they're just so cool. Like you see how funny they are on stream and stuff, but in person, just so much better. Yeah. So yeah, everyone, all the guys I met, again, see us at events, come up to have a chat. Always fun. So
nice. Yeah. Great times had by all. That's all we can hope for. Yeah. Thank Ridge with that. It was great hearing more about the games. Obviously, I do kind of have heard some of the big moments of the different games, but always good to, hear your takeaways and all that. And
make me relive them, essentially, which I will never forget exactly those things.
Yeah, exactly. But with that, I guess we can wrap things up, Ridge. Again, thanks for jumping on and talking to us, telling us about your weekend. But yeah, that's about it. So we'll say a good night to everybody, wherever you are in the world. Hope you enjoyed this stream. Check it out. We'll have Carl on. We're planning to have Carl on soon to talk about his big 5-0. I'm going to be talking about my run as well. And yes, look forward to those. And premium member battle report coming out on Friday. what game is it? Cities of Sigmar and LRL. So definitely check that out if you're a member, or check out the membership if you're not already. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks everyone for joining us here tonight, and we'll see you soon for another battle report.
Peace.
Night.